Okay, Sparks, you're going to have to send this.
Okay, will do.
An emergency at sea. Could you handle it? Would you like to be able to?
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Marine Endeavour, Marine Endeavour, Marine Endeavour. Mayday, this is Marine Endeavour in position 48, 24, 13 north, 12, 15, 36 west. Major fire in engine room after explosion. Require immediate assistance. Firing red flares every 2 minutes. Over.
Right, fine, well done. Okay, that's you finished. Who wants to be next?
If you're interested in a career as a ship's radio officer, or in any of the many associated careers in electronics, stay tuned. Wray Castle is situated in one of the most idyllic settings for a college anywhere in the country, deep in the English Lake District, on the shores of Lake Windermere at Ambleside. The College of Marine Electronics offers you the opportunity to train for 3 years as a radio officer or an electronics engineer on board ship or an oil rig, or if you haven't got sea legs, with a coastal or inland radio station. Wray Castle was built during the 1840s as a private country home. The College of Marine Electronics, which was founded here in 1958, has quickly established a worldwide reputation for excellence. Open to young men and women, the course provides a broad-based 2-year residential period of study leading to an OND in marine telecommunications, plus a 3rd year of specialist training where qualifying students gain the HNC in Electronic and Communications Engineering. The course, which is divided into individual study units, is approved by the Business and Technician Education Council and is based largely on continuous assessment and appraisal of students' work. One of the unique features of Wray Castle is that many of the teaching staff are former students of the college. There must be something about the place. Their instruction is firmly based on up-to-date real-life experience. In addition to the necessary academic qualifications, they have all had professional experience as radio officers, which in many cases is refreshed by radio work out of term time. The staff at Wray Castle believe that the 3 disciplines of theory, practical and fault-finding are all interdependent, each one complementing the other to provide a sound and thorough learning experience.
Okay, the data that we've got displayed in here, it can be printed out, and I'll press the appropriate buttons. It will then start printing the information out and we'll be able to see how it looks.
Practical work takes place primarily in small groups in labs full of equipment. The microelectronics laboratory provides all students with hands-on experience of one of the most important growth areas in marine electronics today.
That's it now printing out. That's the dot matrix printer. As I say, each one of those lines corresponds to one location in memory. If you wanted to print out the whole memory, you'd have 1,000 lines.
Nearly all equipment manufactured for the telecommunications industry utilises microelectronics for more sophisticated program control. So it's essential that all students get a thorough grounding in this crucial growth area. The telecommunications room contains all the relevant equipment, like the teleprinters, ship's main transmitters and automatic direction finders you'd expect to find in the radio room or on the bridge of a ship. There are usually 2 examples of every piece of equipment. One is bang up to date, the other 10 or so years old, which is exactly the state of affairs you can expect to come across at work. Not everyone can afford the latest equipment. Students must become proficient in all aspects of operating the equipment before going to sea. This involves becoming familiar with both the circuit boards and principal controls of a wide range of equipment. Perhaps the most dramatic experience is the radar room, fitted out with marine radars. Here you can monitor activities on nearby Lake Windermere. So sophisticated is today's latest generation of radar that it's possible to chart the progress of not only the vast variety of larger craft that use the lake, but even this small ski boat. And the skier. Of course, not all our practical classrooms are conventional labs. The castle roof is the ideal, if unusual, location for the radar antenna. There can be few other students who can enjoy their lessons in such exhilarating surroundings.
When you've got her set, that's it. Bolt her back up. Most important that you're going to be greasing it back up again before you come back down.
After theory and practice comes fault finding, and equally important, the correction of faults, one of the most important responsibilities of the radio officer today. These responsibilities are undertaken at Wray Castle in the most realistic way possible. Job simulation. Instructors are able to replace an unlimited number of components with special faulty ones. It's then up to the student to locate and rectify the faults. Of course, you'll find all the test equipment that you're likely to need close at hand, including a wide range of oscilloscopes, signal generators, and the very latest type of digital meter. The extraordinarily low overall teacher-student ratio of 1 to 12 means there's always a member of staff close at hand to give constructive advice and help. Students act out in full all the tasks of the radio officer's job. These practical exercises include basic ship-to-shore communications by Morse and the use of keyboards. Skills equally essential in today's world of satellite communications, teleprinters and computers. Other role-play simulations involve contacting coastal radio stations and handling distress messages, both of which are excellent preparation for the Department of Trade examination at the end of the course.
North, 12:15:36 West. Major fire in engine room after explosion. Require immediate assistance. Firing red flares every 2 minutes. Over.
Prospects for students who successfully complete the course are enormous. Radio officers are found at sea sailing the world on ships of both the British Merchant Navy and foreign fleets. Exciting offshore developments all around the world have created many more job opportunities. Of course, radio operators are also employed by the BBC and IBA, as well as coastal radio stations.
I'm not hearing you, bye. Go direct to channel 3.
There's also a chance of a career with the Civil Aviation Authority, or one of the many international giants like Racal, Decca, Marconi or Pi. Wray Castle graduates have such a reputation for versatility that they often turn up in the most unusual jobs. One is working on guided missile systems in Saudi Arabia, while another used his electronics training to count penguins with the British Antarctic Survey Team. However, ex-Wray Castle student David Beech's career as a radio officer is perhaps more typical, so we asked him to tell us about life on board the container ship the Atlantic Conveyor.
Well, a typical day at sea, anyway, would start at 8 in the morning. The first watch starts at 8, and I will generally go up to the radio room. I'll check the traffic lists, make sure there's nothing for us, see if there's any outstanding items on the bridge, anything fallen over during the night that needs repairing. On most ships, still, you'll spend 8 hours a day officially in the radio room on radio watches. On here, we do a slightly different system, that being a high-tech ship, as the expression goes, then we have to do a lot more maintenance, and in conjunction with the electrician, which is extremely important on these ships, we actually do a lot of engine room maintenance work on the electronic side, so you get a lot of satisfaction out of that. There are situations where the radio officer is involved to send Morse and to use HF telex, which of course then involves what we might term a specialised communication skill. But by and large, a lot of the time is taken up with electronic maintenance work and paperwork. Some of the older ships you'd have 2 double-handed watches in the engine room, and you'd maybe have up to 60 people on a ship. On this one we have a manning level of 22 people at the moment. The legal minimum requirement for this ship is 16 people. It also obviously means that the workload is very much higher, but then again you're very much your own boss again, so you get a lot of satisfaction out of that. We have a squash court on the ship, we have a sports room which is for table tennis, etc., and an indoor heated swimming pool, which is very useful on the North Atlantic because of course it gets quite cold, and during the summer it's even better because we can open it up to the after end and relax outside. But by and large the main recreation centre of the ship is what we call the smoke room, which of course is the bar really, so that's it, that's where the video and all that sort of thing is as well.
It's now 15 years since David graduated from Wray Castle, and during that time he's seen the world, from India, Australia and New Zealand to Canada and America, all as part of his job.
Port Patrick Radio, this is Atlantic Conveyor, Golf Zulu Mike 2182. Port Patrick Radio, Atlantic Conveyor, Roger old man, going up channel 3, 1883 and standing by.
Atlantic Conveyor, this is Port Patrick Radio, channel 3, 1883, good afternoon, go ahead please.
In total contrast are a vast variety of shore-based communications jobs.
Atlantic Conveyor, Port Patrick Radio, loud and clear, thank you, go ahead please.
Essential work like this forms an important link in the communications chain from ship to shore. We asked Peter Howe, who also started his career at sea, if this was essential training for the job.
The experience one gains at sea definitely helps at a coast station. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Although it is possible for some of the qualified people to come direct from college into a coast station, and by observing and with the help of the resident staff, they can usually get a grasp quite quickly.
In addition to handling communications, broadcasting weather reports and navigational warnings, coastal radio stations are on 24-hour constant listening alert for any emergency calls.
No, there's no traffic here for you at the time being. Thank you very much. Bye-bye just now. All the best. Bye-bye.
Whatever walk of life, on land or sea, Wray Castle students appear in, their reputation goes before them. This is what the recruitment officer at GCHQ has to say.
We are very pleased to employ Wray Castle students, as they always have a positive approach to both education and employment.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gamby.
Good afternoon.
Do sit down. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
The company that I represent employs engineers...
If all those possible careers seem a bit confusing, don't worry. Wray Castle places great emphasis on career guidance. Practical help is given with interview technique as part of the course, and this includes a useful filmed simulation using external actors.
Well, the course I've studied is...
As well as drawing on the wide industrial experience of the staff, careers talks are given by visiting speakers from, for example, the Foreign Office and the BBC. In addition, the college also employs the services of an international recruitment consultancy to ensure you're offered the pick of the jobs. But beyond the walls of Wray Castle is some of the loveliest mountain scenery in the world, and your course will reflect this. A fully qualified outward-bound expert will guide you through a structured 2-year course, including fell walking, rock climbing and orienteering.
Right, so we should be there, what, quarter to? Yeah, that'll be fine. Right, great. No poles. We're behind a big. That's the underneath there. Excellent.
Within the extensive castle grounds, you'll find the original boathouse makes an ideal base for exploring Lake Windermere, using either our own canoes or sailing boat. You'll also have the chance to learn a little about the geology, agriculture and conservation of the Lake District.
So just square the edge up onto the...
The countryside around Wray Castle is ideal for jogging or a cross-country run or a leisurely cycle ride. These activities occupy one afternoon a week with optional weekend excursions. And if you find any of them a bit strenuous, you can always drop out. Transport's readily available to visit nearby Windermere, Bowness or Ambleside. As well as a good selection of shops, you'll also find the main banks, post office and the local cinema. There's also rugby, soccer, cricket and squash clubs and an excellent choice of eating places. If you've still the stamina, you can learn to ski or swim and perhaps end the day dancing at the appropriately named Sportsman Disco. The Lake District is famous for its many picturesque villages and pleasant inns, well worth exploring. If you prefer a quiet night at home, the Students' Bar in Wray Castle cellar is always a welcome rendezvous. To qualify for admission to Wray Castle, you need English, maths and one science subject at O-level or its equivalent. Students are only admitted with less in exceptional circumstances. Your local education authority should give you a grant which will pay all the Wray Castle fees, including 3 years' tuition and accommodation. So it needn't cost you a penny to get the Wray Castle experience. The end-of-term graduation ceremony at nearby Low Wood Hotel offers a chance to relax for those successful students who have completed either the 2-year OND in Marine Electronics or for the majority of students who have completed the 3-year HNC in Electronic Communication Engineering.
Well, what it's like to be at Wray Castle. I call it the Wray Castle experience. Don't know if that's applicable or not, but I mean, what is this Wray Castle experience? I mean, it's several things you can't quite put your finger on that bonds us all together, staff and students, in genuine friendship. Most of it is your attitude to learning.
If it's just results you're interested in, try this for size. In one recent year, the national average pass rate at OND Telecommunications was 48%. In the same year, the Wray Castle pass rate was 75%. After a short boat trip across Lake Windermere, it's back to the castle to let parents and friends look around. It's a time for family pride, to reflect on the achievements of the past 3 years and to look forward to the future. We asked Peter Broadhurst, who just received his HNC, if he'd enjoyed the Wray Castle experience.
I've enjoyed it, yes. I have. 3 years. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. But it's a very close, friendly atmosphere, staff and students. After 5 o'clock at night, you can still approach a lecturer here. They don't switch off. They don't treat it as a job. They're actually part of Wray Castle. There's always something going on.
So, there we are. A unique experience in a unique setting. Wray Castle College of Marine Electronics. A valuable experience for life.